Hello, it's Tanya and Amelia from Coffee Catchup's podcast, and this is Coffee Catchup's Espresso on Cross Rhythms Radio. And today we are talking about that moment in life that I think most of us can probably relate to. Mm-hmm. That moment in life where you go, I'm not where I thought I'd be. What is happening? What is going on? This isn't what I planned. This isn't life that I envisaged when I was younger. This isn't where I'm supposed to be. I am not where I thought I'd be. Amelia, have you ever had that?
Oh, so much. It's funny, isn't it, when you, I don't know whether you used to do this, I'm sure some of the listeners will relate, but the mash things that you used to do, I don't know whether you used to do this.
The what? What, mashed potato?
No, it's, so you write MASH and it stands for like the type of house you might have. So it's like mansion, apartment, shed or house, I think. And then you write out a list of like celebrity crushes who you might potentially marry, the number of children you're going to have, the type of car you're going to have, that kind of thing. And you basically just use it to plan out your life at the age of 13.
I've never heard of that. I've never done it.
And it was so much fun. We used to do it all the time. And it was just really funny seeing like you're going to live in a shed with like Matt Damon and drive a Porsche or something like that. It's really funny. But, you know, it's just that kind of thing, isn't it, that just illustrates we used to plan out our lives so much in secondary school, and we used to look at people who were like 22, 23 and be like, oh yeah, they're grown-ups and I'll be married by that point. I'll start on kids when I'm like 25 and then retire by the time I'm 50.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? That won't be our generation for sure.
No,
we'll be retired at 80. No, yeah, I know what you mean. It's a lot of it, perhaps it does come from your child expectations of your adult life. I mean, I remember I had youth leaders when I was a teenager who were 26 and they were on their second child, and I just used to look at them with no surprise thinking, well, that's young. I just used to think, oh yeah, they're adults. And I didn't realise until I hit the age marker that I'd accidentally put on these, by this age, I will achieve this. I don't remember consciously doing it. I'd never gone, oh yeah, by age 28, I'm going to be this, and this. But I'd done it. Whether it was conscious or unconscious, I thought by the time that I was by 28, I thought I'd be married, that kind of thing. And I'm not. And there's other things with career. Like I thought by now, you know, I'd be on TV a lot doing cool dramas and stuff like that. But I'm not. But then also there's lots of things in life that surprise you. Like I never thought that I would move around as much as I do and travel as much as I do for work and things like that. And so, you know, there's both the signs going, oh, I'm not where I thought I'd be and this is not good. I want to be somewhere else. And there's also, I'm not where I thought I'd be, but actually this is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't all have to be doom and gloom.
Absolutely. But there's a real... You can get stuck in it, don't you think? You can get stuck in, this isn't what I want. This isn't where I'm supposed to be. And you can almost escalate that thought from this isn't where I want to be to I'm useless. I failed. I've not achieved what I set out to. And this isn't very helpful.
No, definitely not. It's a really odd place to be in, isn't it? And I think so I'm a planner. I like planning things out.
You love to plan.
And particularly when you are in that kind of headspace and you plan out and it's like, okay, this is going to happen and this is going to happen and it's going to be really smooth. And then it's not smooth. It's really, really difficult, isn't it? But we are going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But we will be right back after this song.
So yeah, we're talking about that feeling of when you're not where you thought you'd be. And if I look at kind of the root of it sometimes, it's often rooted in subjects like sort of discontentment, maybe sometimes jealousy of others. Like sometimes I see other people buying a house. When I was 13, I didn't think and I didn't care about what house I would own. I mean, clearly you did with your MASH game. But I was just like, poof, that's not something I'm thinking about. And then sometimes when we see other people doing things, we think, oh, that's what society expects of me. That's where I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
And when I've talked about it before with you on the longer podcast, I've used this metaphor, which I really love, is that sometimes the problem with the thought, I'm not where I thought I'd be, is that we're looking at both the past and the future.
Yes.
But we're not really looking at the now in a constructive way. We're looking at the now with a lens of, this is what I thought I'd be like in the future. And so it's almost like, and this is the image I like to think about, being in a play park. You know, if you're a kid in a play park, there are some fantastic swings.
Yes.
There's a brilliant slide, and you're with some great people, and you should just be playing and enjoying the play park that you're in. But when we get stuck on the thought, I'm not where I thought I'd be, it's like being in that play park, but seeing the field over the other side of this main road, for example, and thinking, I want to go over there. Instead of going, I want to go over there, I'll go over there later, but I'll enjoy where I am for now. It's like standing at the edge of that play park, just looking at the field and only looking at the field and thinking, why can't I be over there? Why can't I be over there? And you forget that you're in this fantastic place that has a slide.
Yeah.
And a swing.
Love a slide.
Love a slide. A cha-cha slide. Oh, bit of silliness. But yeah.
To the right now.
Take it back now, yo. 1 up this time. No, control ourselves. We've gone on a tangent.
We've gone off.
My point was quite serious, and we've escalated to silliness. But it's that kind of idea of, I'm not content with where I am. I'm so focused on that place over there. And in that metaphor, I also said there was a main road between here and the field.
Yeah.
Perhaps going out of your play park at the moment is the wrong time.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I have major experience of this, as you know. So I don't know whether I mentioned, when I came out of my master's degree, I had 8 months of being unemployed, which was really hard. And then I got this job. And it was not at all related to what I wanted to do. It was not in heritage. I wanted to work for the National Trust or English Heritage or museums. And it was at a payment provider, as in tills and card machines. And I took the job because it was a job and I needed a job. And my thought was, because the initial contract was for 6 months and then I'd be kept on, sort of like a probation type thing. And I remember being asked at interview, would you stay on after 6 months? And I said, I was very honest. I was like, if you want to give me the job after 6 months, that's great. I appreciate that. But I want to be really honest. I am looking for a job in heritage. So, maybe not. I don't know. But if something comes up, I have to take it. I was in that job for 2.5 years before I got a job at the National Trust. And I remember thinking so much of the time, like, oh, I really, really, really want to be in heritage. Like, I feel like I'm stuck. Like, this is not good. But actually, the job that I was doing, I started off programming tills. It was data entry. Programming sounds very technical. But then was made office manager, and that job got me the job that I currently have.
Yeah.
Without that job, I wouldn't be where I am. And I learned so much in that job. And although it was difficult because I wasn't where I wanted to be, at the right time, the National Trust job came up at the right property. And I love my team. I love the property. I love my current job. And actually, there's so much that I look at in terms of timing.
Yeah.
That I'm like, actually, had that happened sooner, this might not be in place.
Yeah.
Had that happened sooner, I wouldn't be working in the team that I'm working in. It would have been different people. And yeah, it's really interesting.
And
to look at,
I walked with you for some of that. I saw how difficult that was, because it's easy to say at the end of that story, oh, look, this all of this where I didn't think I was supposed to be here eventually came good. But when you're in it, it's just frustrating.
Yeah,
you were
really frustrating.
This isn't where I'm going to be, but I can't seem to get out of it. And it's quite interesting what you're saying, because you can sometimes, in that moment where you are frustrated, acknowledge it.
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
Absolutely.
It's hard. This isn't where I want to be. Is there anything I can do about it right now? No? Okay, well then I'm going to make the best of the play park that I'm in.
Yeah.
And what can I learn from this place? What good can come from this? And also, I mean, we're both Christians. Who can I bless?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who am I there to also encourage and to come alongside and do life with? Because every job, no matter where you are there with people. And that can be a fantastic opportunity for self-development, for encouragement, and for friendship and growth.
Absolutely.
And we are going to talk more about how to make this overwhelming feeling, this frustration with not being where you thought you'd be, into a more positive space to be and to learn to enjoy the play park we're in. I'm running with this metaphor for basically the whole time.
Oh, it's a great metaphor.
Yeah, it's great metaphors. Go down your slide. Cha-cha slide. So, yeah, we're talking about why am I here when I don't want to be here, and how we can make that a more positive environment and space to be in. So, yes. Amelia, you were talking about your experience in feeling frustrated where you are, you're not where you want to be. Was there a way in that you made it a healthier space, so you weren't just consumed by this thought of, I'm not where I want to be?
Yes. So I think something that really helped me was actually asking the question, why am I here? In terms of actually, like, what is the reason that I am in this space, and how can I kind of, like, for want of a better phrase, maybe kind of step into that reason? And like you were saying before the break, you know, who am I here to bless? Whose life can I make better by being in this space? How can I improve my skills? You know, if it is a job situation, you know, how can I improve my employability by being in this job? And, you know, what can I learn in this space is actually really helpful. So you kind of flip it on its head and look for the positives. And I think actually practicing gratitude is really, really important.
Oh, that's big.
It's so big, isn't it? And going, you know, okay, maybe I'm not in the job I want, or I'm not married and I want to be. But actually, I am grateful for having a roof over my head. I'm grateful for, you know, all of these things. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for, you know, the fact that I have an income. And, you know, I don't know what your situation is. Maybe your situation isn't that, and it is a lot harder than that. But actually picking out the positives can be really, really helpful.
I love that.
And I think the other thing I'd say as well is, if you aren't where you thought you'd be, how do you get to where you want to be? Plans are not always linear, as we know. Plans can be very, very different to reality. But, you know, like for myself, like I said, I work for the National Trust. I'm in business services, but I'd really like to go into curation and stepping into the more kind of historical side. And so it's like, okay, from where I am now, how do I get to where I want to go? Yeah. And actually taking kind of some initiatives, taking the practical steps to say, okay, I'm not where I am, I'm not where I want to be right now, but in terms of where I do want to be, how do I get there? Yeah. And actually putting a plan in place can be helpful, because otherwise you just feel very stuck.
Yeah, and I mean, it's important to take control of the things that you can take control of. But I love what you're saying about in kind of enjoying where you are now, and what can you gain and what can you learn and who can you bless, and all these things of why am I here. But just to be real for a second, sometimes with this feeling can be an acknowledgement of real disappointment, because sometimes there are things that our heart desires and our hearts want that we don't have. And it's a really hard space. Like, I think particularly about people who perhaps have always wanted children and are not able to have them. Yeah. And that is, I'm not where I thought I'd be a mum, but I'm not. And that comes with a lot of pain and acknowledgement. And first of all, like, you know, acknowledge that pain, that is horrible, and it is horrible, like, just completely soul destroying sometimes as a thought. But on the more positive note, what are the advantages of your situation? To take it back to kind of what you're saying about gratitude, of going, okay, I don't have a baby, but I have, like, all these other my brother's children or my friend's children that I can bless in some ways, or I want to be married, but I'm single. I've got all of this free time. How can I use it to my advantage? How can I actually write down the advantages of being alone and make that a constructive choice to step into them?
Yes.
I can't do anything about my relationship status because it requires two people.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about whether I have a baby or not because it is a biology thing. But I can step into that I am single, and I can find the good things about it and push myself further than where I thought I could go.
Yeah.
It's fascinating what you can discover about yourself and about your life when you let go, or you start to let go a little bit less tightly of things that you've wanted.
Yeah.
So sometimes we ask ourselves a very hard question and we go, this isn't where I thought I'd be, and I really want to be over there. Sometimes that just ask yourself, why do I want to be over there so badly? Sometimes absolutely go for it, shoot for the stars, get to where you want to go. But sometimes part of being an adult and part of wisdom is going, actually, maybe I don't need that. Maybe I can grow so much here, even though I didn't plan it and I don't want to be here. But actually, maybe I can change that to, I actually like being here.
Yeah.
Deep.
Challenging.
Deep.
Very deep.
Challenging
very,
myself.
very good. Very wise. We love that.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to Coffee Catchup Espresso. We'll be back next week with more. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.